All right, let's see what you got up here. Welcome back to everybody. And we are in the middle of chapter 12. We're looking at adjective clauses this week and next week. So let me make a quick announcement and then we'll check our warm-up together. I sent you guys an email last week, I think. It said something about survey of the class. Did you guys get that email?
Yes.
Okay. I sent that to all my students. I have 3 classes, so I sent it out to everybody. And what it's going to do is I'm asking you to answer one or all of the questions, as many as you want to answer, and send that email back to me with your answers. This will help me prepare for my online classes in the spring. So it's okay if you want to do that in November or the end of this month, whatever is easier for you. But I really would appreciate it if you would do that. So let's go to the warm-up. So we talked on Tuesday about adjective clauses. And so here I'm asking the definition. What is an adjective clause? And somebody put, it is a clause that describes a noun and it has a subject and verb. That is correct. Okay, so the function is that it's an adjective, but the structure of it is a clause. So a clause has a subject and verb, and all of the clause has a function or a purpose. It's there to describe a noun that is before the adjective clause. Okay, second question is actually, we're going to move this up because the second part of the question says, what is the structure? So right here is the structure. We have that, who, or whose. We could also have which, right?
Yes.
And these are, what are these called? That, who, whose, and which?
That the H shall.
Subject, relative pronouns.
Yeah, there you go. SRP, a subject relative pronoun. So good. You can choose either of these, but they're all going to be subject relative pronouns. And then you have conjugated verb. Don't forget to use the word verb here. What does conjugated mean?
They will support or they support for or they which no.
It's hard to explain, right?
But I understand. Difficult to explain that.
Okay, what if I say, I want to be an astronaut? I want to be an astronaut. Is be a conjugated verb?
Yes.
I want to be an astronaut. Is be conjugated?
Conjugated. Yes.
Nope.
Want to.
Be is not conjugated.
Want be là to be rất là.
Okay, so I'm trying to help you decide on the definition of conjugated verb. Want is conjugated.
Yes.
Okay, but why? How do I know if it's conjugated or not?
Because they mix with the subject. If the subject is the she, they have an S in the last word.
That's right. Good. How do you know if it's conjugated? If it's conjugated, that means when the subject changes, the verb will have to match it. So if I change the sentence and I say she, then have to change the verb to once,
Yes.
but I'm not going to change be. She wants to be an astronaut. I want to be, she wants to be, they want to be. So I can also make it past. I wanted to be. But if I make it past, only want will change. To be will not change. So the be is not conjugated in this sentence. Only want is conjugated. Why? Because it has to match with the subject and it has to have a tense. Does that make sense, Walter?
Yes, a little bit. I don't understand the subject. What is the problem with the subject? So if the subject,
Well, there's no
the verb
problem with
can change, or
if I there's no problem with the subject, but if I want to change the subject, I can. The only verb that will change is the conjugated verb. So let me give you, oops, I didn't spell it. Did I spell it right? Astronaut, yeah. So if I change the subject, okay, and I use she now, then I also change the conjugated verb because the subject and the verb have to match.
so
Okay?
any verb that is able to change on third person is a conjugated verb.
Basically, conjugated verb means any verb that you're using in a sentence that connects to the subject.
Connects with the subject.
And it has to go in step with the subject. So the way I illustrate this idea is think of a pair of shoes. A pair of shoes is like the subject and the conjugated verb. So if you nobody goes out of their house with one yellow shoe and one black shoe because they don't match, right?
Right.
So they have to be a pair, okay? They've got to be pair. A subject has to have a pair with a conjugated verb. They always go together. It doesn't mean that we can never change the subject or we can only use one verb, but the verb will change according to the tense. That's what it means. Like, for example, I can change it to past.
So can is not a conjugated verb.
Can?
Can.
Can is an auxiliary verb.
Yes.
Now, sometimes auxiliaries can be conjugated. Yes.
Finish.
Here's the thing. Every sentence must have a conjugated verb. So if you look at can, that's the first part of the verb. You've got to have the second part, right? Like can go, can work. So if I have can work, that will be the conjugated verb. But if it's, let me get you examples of things that are not conjugated. Look at these infinitives, to be, right? I never change the be form. I never say to is or to was, okay? Even though my subject is changing or my tense is changing, the infinitive verb doesn't change. It's not conjugated in this sentence. So, Walter, luckily I know a little bit of Spanish. So let me explain it in terms of Spanish because it's exactly the same. Okay? When you have a conjugated verb in Spanish, it will show the tense and the subject. Like I can say hablo or I can say habló. So each one of those is conjugated, but it's different, right? It's according to the subject and the tense.
Okay.
But let's say, and I usually don't do this, but if you're really having problems, I like to, like if I have this, quiero comer, is it algo something? Notice that the first verb, quiero, is conjugated, but the second one is not, because it's just the infinitive. It's just the base form. There's no change. There's no like alteration to it. So we would say the first one is conjugated, but the second one is not conjugated. Does that make sense?
Yes, I try to understand, but it's a verb that I don't know. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah.
A verb that
Great. I
changes
started
with
out the
every
class
subject.
confusing you, huh?
It's a verb that can change with every subject.
It doesn't change with every subject, but it always has a tense, and it needs to match the subject. So every sentence will have a conjugated verb. Let me see if I can find something. No, I don't see it in your book. They don't really give. No, the thing is, Walter, we studied verbs in the first part. But you took grammar level 1, right?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. So there's a little bit of a gap there, I think, like in your understanding. If you look over at chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, if you look at all those chapters in your book, you're going to see verb conjugations. We've got simple present, we have simple past, we have present perfect. Those are all tenses, and they have rules for conjugation. Just like in Spanish, you have pretérito, imperfecto, presente, all of those that you have, those are tenses, and they create changes on the verb. So they create the conjugated verbs.
Okay.
Okay. So we might need to have maybe another session on verbs or just that word conjugated. But maybe you can do a little study in Google or something on what I mean, because I think that you have an idea of what it is, but you just maybe need to understand the word conjugated, like what that actually means.
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe do a little study, and if you want to email me, or maybe we can talk before or after class. I can help you
Okay.
more, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
And I wanted to say welcome to Amani. I noticed you joined us, so we are checking the warm-up here. Okay,
All
let's
right.
get back to SRPs. Those are our best friends, right? No, not really, but we're trying to learn them. Okay, so the structure, yes, Amani, do you have a question?
Oh yeah, I had a question. I
Okay.
was, is it possible to have in one sentence and have like 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 conjugated verb? Like for example, right here, you said in a sentences you have I mean you need to have conjugated verb and infinitive, right?
No, you don't have to have an infinitive. No. But you
Oh,
have to have a conjugated verb, yes, in every sentence.
oh, I understand now.
So you can have a sentence that has 5 conjugated verbs. That's okay. You can have a sentence that has 1 conjugated verb.
Oh, okay.
And actually, if you look at page 321, let me show you the conjugated verbs so you can circle them. Page
All right.
321. Page 321. Let's look in the green box.
Yes.
You see A, B, and then C, D, E. You can
Yes.
circle met. Met. That
Yeah.
is past tense. That's a conjugated verb. So everywhere you see met, 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 all of those are conjugated. And also C, D, and E, we also have conjugated verbs in the adjective clause. We've got is, and lives.
Yeah.
Those are all conjugated, and they're in present tense, right? So they're
Yes.
conjugated. But if you look at my screen, to be is not, it doesn't have a tense. It's not present, it's not past, nothing.
Right.
It's not conjugated.
Yeah.
And cut is a conjugated verb. Cut.
Which one?
Cut.
Ought?
Cut.
Like O-U-G?
E-U-T.
Oh, taught.
Cut.
Yeah, that's past tense. T-A-U-G-H-T.
No, C-U-T.
Is it this one, Walter?
Let me see. I have to change my screen. Where?
The one I circled at the bottom here.
No, this one.
Oh, cut. Well, it depends on how you use it in a sentence. If you say, I cut my finger, yes, cut is conjugated. If you say, I want to cut some vegetables, then cut is not conjugated.
That's an infinitive.
Yeah. It depends on how you use the verb.
I don't know how to know when it's conjugated. I
Okay.
understand how to form the sentence with the verb, but
Yeah.
I think because cut is the same word with every subject. So
Right.
it's
Well,
more,
if
it's
it
more
has a
confusing
subject,
right now.
if it connects with the subject, then it will be conjugated. If it has a tense, it will be conjugated.
So
Why don't
That's
we, I need to give you some examples, probably. Why
that's
don't
that's
we,
a regular verb.
maybe
yeah, cut
maybe
irregular.
can you repeat your sentence that you said when it's a conjugated verb and when it's not using the same verb? I cut my
Okay.
finger. Yes, that was. I cut my finger today. And the other one?
I want to cut some vegetables.
Oh, because
Yeah,
I
and two
need to
has
add
some examples too.
another verb because right now I have another verb. Is cut is not the main verb.
Right, right. So when we talk about main verb, we're talking about a conjugated verb. Yeah.
So now
Yeah.
it's not conjugated, but want is conjugated.
That's right. Yep.
So no, I don't understand either.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a note and I'm going to put together a little list of sentences and I'll send you an email. Or if we have time after class, we can talk about it, okay?
Okay, I have time.
Yeah, I've got a couple minutes after class probably. But I'm recording right now, so I got to get back to
Yeah, no.
I think they
we'll do conjugated verbs later. Conjugated verbs is really like more of level 1. But I can at least give you a basic introduction to it to help you out, okay? So let's go back to the whiteboard screen. We've got adjective clauses, and yes, we do need to have a conjugated verb. So yeah, it is part of what we're learning. Conjugated means it has a tense, okay? So think about conjugated equals tense. What is tense? You need to go back to chapters 1, 2, 3, 4 and look at those tenses. Tense means time, okay? Past, present, future, all that. So an adjective clause that we've studied so far, it's got a SRP, and then a verb, and then any other words that need to go with it. Okay? And number 2 says, what is an SRP, subject relative pronoun? What does it mean and how do we use it? Basically, it doesn't describe a subject. So I'm going to take this. It is a subject. It is a subject in the adjective clause. So I'm going to change this a little bit. So 2, you got started good with this one, but so an SRP is always going to be the subject of an adjective clause. Okay, good. So, and in your homework, we'll look at examples, and I'll show you exactly how an SRP is the subject, okay? So we'll look at that in a minute. And number 3, nobody answered anything on this one. Basically, what you need to remember for a paragraph is that you want to have a main idea sentence where you state your topic and what you are going to talk about, and you're going to have support sentences with examples and details, and then at the end you have conclusion sentence. So next week you guys are going to do a little writing assignment for me, and I want you to have a half a page written. So look at page 320.
320.
Page 320.
Yes.
Okay, it looks like it has a long paragraph here. I want you to choose, if you would like to write about this topic, you can. It says choose an organization that you're interested in. So maybe you can choose Amazon or Microsoft or Google, any type of organization, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, or what do they call it? Immigration, Border Patrol, I don't know, whatever you want. Choose an organization or company that you're interested in and research it, look at some websites, learn about it, and then you're going to write a paragraph about that organization. So this could be some career exploration for you. If you're interested in maybe one day you want to work in finance, then you could pick an organization that's like a finance organization and read about it and then report to me what you learned. That is one possible topic. That one is a little bit challenging, but if you want something a little bit easier, okay, your homework will be to choose a topic from page 341. So let's look over there real quick so I can show you where it is. Page 341. Wait, was that it? No, I don't. Is it 341?
Yeah.
Wait, is it? Exercise. Oh yeah, exercise 41.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so this is the second topic. You can choose this one if you want to. It says write a paragraph about someone you know and something interesting or unusual about his or her life. So this one is a little bit easier. You just pick somebody, maybe one of your parents, a friend, somebody you know, and you're going to describe the person. So you have to choose one of these 2 topics, and then you're going to write a half a page. And that will be due next Friday,
Okay.
on October 23rd. And the purpose of the writing exercise is for you to practice all the things we've learned. I want to see comparison. I want to see some count and non-count nouns. I want to see passive. And I want to see adjective clauses in there. So for more information or help, I want you to look at reading writing assignment number 3 in the lesson folder. Okay, so I explain more over there. Okay, so that's what's coming up. I wanted you to just have a heads up, kind of know what's coming up next week. Any questions before we check our homework?
No.
All right.
Reading assignment video. Oh man. Now assignment go react.
You're over there at the lesson folder, aren't you, Walter?
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm whispering.
I think these microphones are really good on these computers.
Yeah.
No problem, no problem. Okay, let's look at our homework, guys. You guys did exercise 2, so let's start with that one. It's at the very bottom right side of your screen here. Exercise 2, page 322.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so you need to check sentences 1, 2, and 5.
That's correct.
1, 2, and 5.
1, 2, 5.
To have complete sentences. Oh, okay, that one was easy. I don't know why I give that one. Let's go to exercise. Oh, we already did exercise 5. We did that one. But in case you didn't see the answers in my last video, then I'm showing you this page right here, top left. Okay. We already labeled these in class. I want you to know that for each adjective clause, these start with a SRP. So number 2, the SRP is that, and the verb hired. So we have a subject that, we have the verb hired. So the subject is that, and the verb is hired. You can label those if you haven't yet in your book. Number 3, the subject is that, the verb works. So you can see the structure. Remember we talked about the structure? SRP plus conjugated verb. And each of these, it has the same structure. Okay? Any questions there?
No.
All right, let's go over to exercise 6. This is the new one that we have not checked. Let's see, Amani, what did you put number 1?
Okay, number 1, I put the police officer who gave me directions was friendly.
Okay, and I'm going to underline here the adjective clause. That is correct. We can use who or that, and then we have the verb gave, and then we have the other words, me directions.
Did you do number 2?
No, we just did number 1. We talking about exercise?
Exercise, 2? Yes, exercise.
Yes, I already did that one.
Oh.
It is, you want the answers? It's going to be number 1, number 2, and I believe it was number 5, right? 2? 1, 2, and 5. Let me go back and check. It's on this page. Yeah, it's 1, 2, and 5. Exercise 2.
1, 2, 5, yes.
Which exercise?
What's that?
The exercise 2.
Yeah.
322.
Oh, okay.
Hey. Which one correct? That's a 1, 2, 5. 3,
One.
1, 2, 5 là correct. 3, 4, 6 là incorrect.
Yeah, do you guys have questions about exercise 2? Do we need to go back? I hear somebody erasing things over there. Did someone get something wrong on exercise 2?
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead if you want to ask a question. You can.
I got it. I got it right now.
Okay. Complete sentences. Okay. Okay, so let's go back to exercise 6. We have a subject, relative pronoun. That's who or that. And then we've got the verb gave. Okay. Did everybody see that?
Yes.
SRP plus verb. Okay, number 2, Walter, what is your answer?
The waiter who or that served us dinner was slow.
Good. Who or that served us dinner is the adjective clause. That's correct, okay? Number 3, 2, what did you put?
I talk to the woman who lives next to me. Oh, I choose another one.
Yeah.
And that's okay too. I talked to the woman who lived next to me.
Next to me, yeah.
But they want you to go across, straight across. So it should be, I talked to the women who or that walked into my office.
Okay.
Okay, and number 4, the man who or that sat next to me on the plane talked a lot. And then number 5, the people who or that live next to me have 3 cars. Okay, so each one of these sentences has an adjective clause in it. And each adjective clause has the same structure. We have the subject relative pronoun, then we have the conjugated verb, and any extra words after that. So I want you to get a really good look at these because today we're going to look at a different kind of adjective clause that's a little bit more challenging. So I want you to have the easy part kind of in the back of your mind. Don't lose it, okay?
Okay.
Okay, let's go to number 7, exercise 7.
7.
This time we need
Oh,
to
number.
add who or that. Yes, Amani?
Yeah. Which one is very common? They're all. I mean, the both are same.
I would say both of
That.
them.
I mean that and who?
Oh, the word that is much more common.
That.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, exercise 7. Sometimes we need to add who or that. Actually, in all of these, we need to add who or that. So it says as necessary, but okay. So number 2, Amani, what did you put number 2?
I put the man who answered the phone was polite.
That's good.
Between.
So very good. So if you get any of these wrong and you're kind of confused about the structure, I want you to use parentheses around the adjective clause. If I were in the classroom with you, I would walk around and mark in your book and show you how to do this. But parentheses is like the one side and the other side. Do you guys know what parentheses look like?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I recommend using those with adjective clauses because you should always be able to take out adjective clause and you still have a sentence. So in number 2, the main clause is the man was polite. Okay. And then we added an adjective clause in the middle. We said, who answered the phone? Now, did anybody say the man answered the phone who was polite?
No.
The men who answered the phone were polite.
Okay, good. So I'm glad you did not use who or that after phone, because then you would be describing the phone, not the person. And phones are not polite. Like my cell phone here, I don't say, oh, I love my phone, it's so polite. Right? We can't describe phones as being polite. So we're going to make the adjective clause describe the man. Okay, good. Let's go to number 3. Walter, what did you put for number 3?
People who paint houses for a living are called house painters.
Yeah. Good. People who paint or people that paint. Both are correct. All right, and 2, can you do number 4?
I am uncomfortable around married couple who or does argue all the time.
Good. Couples who argue or couples that argue. And I want everybody to say after me, uncomfortable.
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 Good. Don't make that an extra syllable. It's uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable. Uncomfortable.
Yes, yes. Okay, you're getting it.
Married couple who argue
Uncomfortable.
all the time.
Uncomfortable.
Uh-oh,
Uncomfortable.
Amani's digressing.
Uncomfortable.
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 No! Oh, it's so hard. It's like you hear it, but then it's not coming out. Uncomfortable, Amani.
Uncomfortable.
There you go. You have to say that 100 times today, okay?
Yeah.
Everybody, what is
Uncomfortable.
uncomfortable?
Uncomfortable.
There you go.
Uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable.
Good job. Good job. You got it now. Okay, number 5. While I was waiting at the bus stop, I stood next to an elderly man who or that started a conversation with me about my school.
School. Good.
All right. So that's exercise 7, and we're almost done.
24. 331.
Yeah, let's go to exercise 24. So we're skipping over a few pages, and we're looking at subject-verb agreement.
Yes.
Subject-verb agreement. All of the verbs that are in the parentheses, Walter, are conjugated verbs, but we're supposed to choose the correct conjugated verb.
Comfortable.
Okay.
Conjugated verb.
Conjugated verbs. They're all in the parentheses. We're just picking the correct one.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, page 331. Here we are. Okay, Amani, what did you put for number 2?
Number 2, I underlined tools, and the conjugated verb is are.
Yes.
Good.
So shovels are tools that are used to dig holes.
Yes. And shovels are uncomfortable to use. right? They're
Right.
not comfortable.
Yeah.
I don't like using shovels. You have to have the correct
Shovels.
shoes to use a shovel. Okay,
Shovel.
so tools and then are.
Two are.
Okay, Walter, number 3, please.
Number 3, I recently met a woman that lives in Montreal.
That's right.
Yes.
Good. Woman lives.
And lives.
Okay, number 4, 2.
Most people that live in the Montreal speak French as their first language.
Yes.
So
Good.
people and live.
People and live. That's correct. So we're matching the subject with the verb correctly. All right. Now, oh, I said subject. The subject is actually the word that. Okay. But we are underlining the word that means. So a pronoun is going to replace a noun. So what we did in number 2, in the adjective clause, we took out the word tool, and we put in the word that. So the subject in the adjective clause is that. But we know it's plural in number 2 because it refers to the word tools. And tools is plural. So remember I talked on Tuesday that the word that, the word who, which, and whose, we don't know by looking at the word if it's singular or plural. So we have to look outside the adjective clause at the word that we're describing. And that's the word we're underlining right now. So number 5, we want to underline cousin, and then we circle works. Number 6, minors, and we circle work. Number 7, athlete, circle plays. Number 8, athletes, and circle play. Number 9, books, circle tell. Number 10, book, and circle tells with the S. And number 11, men, and
Well.
circle were, yeah.
Woman
And then 12, woman was.
was. Done.
Okay.
Good.
A lot of homework.
Thumbs up.
Good job, guys. Did everybody get those correct?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So,
So now I want you to flip back to page 324.
324.
And I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to look at adjective clauses that have object relative pronouns.
Oh.
Are you ready, guys? This is a challenging lesson today.
Walter.
Okay, so look at page 324. You see the green box.
Yes.
Okay, I want us to look at something too. Can you read where it says in adjective clauses?
In adjective clauses, pronouns are used as the object of a verb to describe people.
Okay, now that sounds a little bit confusing. Pronouns used as an object of a verb to describe people. That's a lot to think about. Let me show you what that means. Look on the left side. It says, the man was friendly. I met him. Everybody see that one?
Yes.
When it says, I met him, the object is him. So what we do, since we're describing the man, we're describing him. That's the same person, the man and him. So we're going to take out the word him and we put in the word that. That is called the object relative pronoun. So it becomes a sentence together. Look under that at letter B. It says, the man that I met was friendly. Everybody see letter B?
Yes.
Okay, what do you notice about that adjective clause? I want you to see if you recognize two things that happened with the adjective clause.
We have and after that the condition can be
Conjugated?
conjugated. Yes.
Okay, but I'm not sure if I understand what you're saying too. What do you see in the adjective clause? Something changed, something is different.
Yeah, it's like the object become a subject.
Or something changed.
Okay. So Walter, the object did not actually become a subject, but the object moved to the front.
Yes.
Look at letter B and the little letters. It says OSV, right?
Right.
It doesn't say SVO anymore. It says OSV. So that's the first thing you notice, that the object moved to the front. Okay. Now, something else, did you notice that we don't have him in the adjective clause? We do not say the man that I met him was friendly. Everybody see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Him
Okay.
là that and that là him rồi.
This is a common mistake that students make when they're speaking. They'll say, oh, the teacher that I saw her over there, and she, and it's like, we just made a mistake, because why do we have to take out him? Does anybody know why?
Yeah, because I think because we have, if you wanna make an adjective clauses, you need to have that. So in the first sentence, who and that wasn't.
Okay. Who in that? Okay, so we had to start with that, right?
Right.
Somebody is not honking their horn out there.
A
Okay.
job traffic.
I'm so easily distracted, guys. Sorry. So what we did when we have this little clause right here, I met him. What we did was we took out the him, okay, and we moved to the front. We moved the object to the front. But instead of saying him I met, we're going to say who or that I met. Did everybody see that? That's actually what really happened. And now we have the object at the front. We cannot, I repeat, we cannot have the object in both places. Okay? Does everybody thumbs up on that?
Yep.
Any questions about that? Okay.
No question.
Are you observing it? Okay. So here we go with the structure. This is what we want to start with today. What is the structure of these kinds of clauses? Okay. In these clauses, we do not have a SRP. We do not have a subject relative pronoun. This is our second type of clause, and this one has an ORP, object relative pronoun. And I just realized I skipped one. Yeah, we're supposed to be here. Okay. So adjective clauses with object relative pronouns. So let's look here. look at my sentence. The tree that I used to climb is covered with red leaves. Who can find the adjective clause in this sentence?
That I used to climb.
Good. Good job, too. Okay, so let's break it down piece by piece. We know the clause is that I used to climb. Now, let's look at the pieces of the clause. We're going to have an object relative pronoun first. Then we always have a subject after that. Okay? And then we're going to put the conjugated verb and any other words. So do you notice how this one is different from the one we looked at on Tuesday?
Yes.
Can everybody see the difference?
Different, they have a subject.
Right. This one has a subject word, not a subject relative pronoun. Okay? So what are the object relative pronouns? In this case, this time we have more options. We can use who or whom. We can use that and which and also whose. And then we have two more possibilities, when and where. But those are a little bit rare. Okay, they don't even have them listed in your book. So we're not really going to focus on when and where. We're going to look at who, whom, that, which, and whose. Okay, so what do you notice about the difference between a SRP and an ORP? Can anybody tell me the difference on, after you see these yellow these yellow words? What's the difference in the words?
Who, whom,
Well,
possessive.
there are 3 words on this list that are not on the SRP list.
Yes.
Which ones are they?
Whom and whose.
No, whose is a SRP also?
Yep. Whom, when, and where.
That's right, Amani. So these are the ones that are only ORPs. Whom with the M, when, and where. Okay? These 3 guys right here are just going to be object relative pronouns. They cannot be subject relative pronouns. Okay? Everybody got that?
Yes.
We got him.
Okay, and I'll just tell you now, who and whom. Some students ask, well, what's the difference? There is no difference in the meaning. But whom with the M is a little bit more formal. Like, for example, I could say, the person whom I used to live near just passed away last week. The person who I used to live near, the person that I used to live near, both of them are, all of those are correct, but whom is a little bit more formal, okay? And I think your book said something about, oh yeah, look at the bottom, page 324.
324.
The bottom right side, you see where it says whom is generally used only in what? Is everybody looking
Using
in
a
your?
very formal, writing.
Yeah. It's used in very formal writing, not in speaking. Okay, so that is a big difference. But the meaning is the same. They're both for people. But whom is for formal writing, okay? Okay, so down at the bottom, you'll see an example sentence that I just had about my tree. The tree that I used to climb is covered with red leaves. Actually, the conjugate, you see, that's confusing. The conjugated verb is used, But I put used to climb because
Simple past.
I consider this as like an expression, kind of like a modal, like used to, have to. So I put it all as brown letters. But anyways, we've got the ORP that, we've got a subject, I, and then we have a verb. Okay, so let's take a look at some more examples. I want you guys to see these in your book. Look at exercise 10, and we're going to do some analysis together. So you need to get your pencil. This is what we call active learning. So I want you to circle the ORP and then label subject and verb. Okay, so you're going to find the adjective clause in number 2 and 3. You're going to circle the ORP and label subject and verb. S, subject, V, verb. Okay, so do that at the top of page 325. I'll give you 2 minutes. I want you to do number 2 and 3.
You mean exercise 10?
Oh, hi, Fei Young. Yes, exercise 10, page 325.
Thank you.
We're labeling the parts of the adjective clause. Yes.
Thank you. So I don't catch up with the like the formal part. So
Formal and
I get
informal.
confused.
Okay,
No,
please.
I'm
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean the previous part of this class.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay, let me help you. Let me help you. Page 324 at the bottom of the page in the box. You can see the example has who I met and whom I met. Who I met and whom I met. There's 2 examples. And then on the right side, it says whom is generally used only in very formal writing. So the meaning is the same, but whom with the M is more formal.
Yes.
We usually don't speak with whom, okay? Okay, so guys, let's look at exercise 10, number 2 and 3. Let's see what you did. Who wants to help us with number 2? Any
Yep.
volunteers?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead, Amani.
Uh, that that's that's uh that's object pronoun.
Yep, good.
Yeah. We that's the subject.
Yes,
Invited, that's conjugated verb.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So the whole adjective clause, we would underline that we invited to the party. Good. And then we labeled the 3 parts. We've got the ORP, that, the subject, we, the verb, invited. Okay? And it's all describing children.
Yeah.
So we invited the children to the party is the actual meaning of the adjective clause. Okay, good. And number 3 is almost exactly the same, okay? except we changed the ORP and we used home.
Can home. Number
Yeah.
4. PR. Number 4.
So I'm going to let you guys continue the other ones for homework because I want you to take a break and then come back and try to recall and remember what we talked about. Okay, so I don't want to finish this now. We're going to do another activity. Look at the screen here. We're going to do this together. It says combine these two to make an adjective clause with an ORP. Combine these sentences. Does anybody want to try to do this? We're going to try to put these two sentences into one sentence that has an adjective clause.
Yes. And
Okay, you go ahead.
the teacher that I saw didn't have a name tag on.
Oh, okay. What do you think, guys? Do you think she's correct? The teacher that I saw didn't have a name tag on.
Yes.
Okay, Fei Young agrees with you. Amani, Walter, what do you think?
Yes.
Okay, we got majority rules.
Oh yeah.
You guys are correct.
Yes.
The teacher that I saw. Notice we do not say the teacher that I saw her or the teacher that I saw him. Okay? Remember what we said. If you have an object relative pronoun, it's going to replace the object. We cannot have the object two times. That I saw him. Okay? We can only have one. So make sure you take note of that. Okay, now let's do another speaking practice together. Exercise 13. Exercise 13, page 326. Now, I will tell you guys, this one is a little bit tricky because some of these will have SRPs and some of these are going to have ORPs. Exercise 13. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you a couple minutes to think about it. We'll probably just do number 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then I will assess how you're doing. If we're all doing pretty well, then we can stop there. So just work on 2, 3, 4, and 5. What do you need to do? Okay, look at the top where it says the main sentence. What you need to do is keep those words and you need to add an adjective clause in the middle. So number 2, you have to create the adjective clause out of the words in number 2. And then you're going to put it into the sentence, the man was helpful. So number 1, the man who gave me directions was helpful. Number 2, you have to start your sentence with the man, okay? And then you're going to have an adjective clause, and then was helpful. Okay, does everybody understand what we're doing?
Yes.
Yes.
Questions, anybody?
How many until the question 5, right?
Yeah, we're doing 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Okay, done.
Two, 3, 4, and 5. And just to be clear, we'll put it up on the whiteboard, okay?
Put in the whiteboard.
Yeah, so 2, you're going to do number 2. 2 can do 2. And then Fei Young will do 3.
Yes.
Ronnie will do 4. And Walter can do 5. Okay?
Okay.
Take your time. You're just going to write the whole sentence that has the adjective clause. Some of these are tricky. We'll see if you guys get them. I'll be so proud of you if you get them all correct. And two, you're always so fast with these. So why don't you do number 6 while we're waiting, okay? Yeah, you can do 6.
Sit.
And I also want you to label the pronoun. So I want you to put either ORP or SRP. I want to make sure that you notice the difference. Okay? So for your sentence, put ORP or SRP, whichever kind that it is. Okay, good, Walter. Looking good there. Is it ORP or SRP? Go ahead and put that by your sentence.
Oh,
Okay, I'll give you 30 more seconds. So we're waiting. Actually, no, we're not waiting on anybody. Yeah, we're waiting on Amani to tell us if it's SRP or ORP. And Amani, you've got to remember to capitalize I. We all
Okay.
capitalize I. Yeah, every single time. When it's the person, it's I. Okay. Okay, guys, let's take a look at these. So number 2, the man who answered my question was helpful. So this is correct. This is an SRP. How do you know it's an SRP? Because the next word is the verb. So subject and verb.
And as here is supposed to be you. So I put I.
Oh, number 4? Oh, yeah. The man who you recommended, the man that you recommended, that's fine. It's okay. We're just looking at the structure. So, good. So number 3, the man who I called was helpful. We've got an object relative pronoun, and that is correct. How do you know it's an object? Who and who are the same? It's because the subject is next, and then the verb called is next. So that means who is the object. Okay, and number 4, the man that you recommended was helpful. Object relative pronoun here, that's correct. And Walter, the man who is the owner was helpful. Who is the subject? How do we know? Because the next word is the verb. Subject plus verb. Okay, guys, y'all got all of these correct. You must have a really good grammar teacher. Yeah, I think that's the common denominator here. Okay, I'm just kidding. Good job, guys. So let's look at one more thing before we go. And if we have time, we'll do a little practice. So I'm going to share my screen again and go back to the PowerPoint. We've got one more thing to look at. Look at page 327. 327 at the top, the box. There's two sections. This is a little bit confusing unless you know what to look for. So page 327, the top row where it says ABC, those are all subject relative pronouns, right? SRP in there. The bottom row of the box are all ORPs, object relative pronouns. Okay, so the top section is subject relative pronoun, the bottom section is object relative pronoun. Okay, so let's talk about this for a second. The bottom box section, you guys see letter D where it says the books were expensive, I bought them. Does everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay, let's look at E, F, and G. The books that I bought, the books which I bought, and the books, well, right there on letter G.
Nothing.
Nothing. Right. It means there's nothing there. It's omitted or it's deleted. The books I bought were expensive. Is that okay to do that in English? To
Yes.
take out the
Yeah.
ORP?
Yeah.
Yep. It's very, very common. What does it say that is rare? So it's very common in speaking that we take off the object relative pronoun. So I could say, the tree I used to climb, the teacher I saw, the books I bought. In all of those, I'm using an adjective clause, but I'm not using an ORP. I'm not giving you the object relative pronoun. I'm deleting it. I'm taking it out. So when you have object relative pronoun, that's who, that, or which, it's very common to delete it or take it out when there's no commas around the clause. So I put some examples here. Let's look at these. Oh, wow. Go back. Okay, I really enjoyed the movie I watched yesterday. Everybody see, I took out the object relative pronoun. And that is correct. We can do that. We can leave it in or we can take it out. Both are options. Okay, second example. The teacher I admire the most is Mrs. Williams. I took out the who.
Who? Yeah.
Okay?
Yes.
But just remember, do not take out whose, when, or where. We can never take those out. And we can never take out an SRP. Okay, so that's the tricky part, is knowing when you can take it out and when you cannot. Okay, so your homework is going to be they're going to ask you questions like, is it possible to take it out or not? And you guys have to kind of go through this rule and apply the rule there. Okay, any questions about that?
No.
All right, high five. So we've got 10 minutes left. I want us to do some group work. I'm going to go back to the Collaborate screen and put you in a group just for a few minutes so you can kind of process everything we talked about. I want you to create sentences with your partner that have object relative pronouns. So these are going to be your own sentences. You can use exercise 39 if you want to help you get some ideas. That's just your choice. That's an option. Okay?
Yes.
Everybody know what we're doing?
Yes.
Yes.
Keeping you busy. No time to stop. Okay, so group 1 is going to be Amani and let's see, Amani, have you ever been in a group with Walter before?
Not yet. I
Okay.
always be with two.
I know, and I'm looking at as Collaborate puts the groups together. They always put you with 2. So I'm moving.
Yeah.
I don't know why. So I'm moving. Okay.
And I never with the group with the welter. I never.
I know they always put you in a group.
Mine and Phi Young never with the welter.
Well, this time we're
Yes,
with
that's true.
Amani. So next time I'll put you with Walter. I know everybody wants to be in a group with Walter, so
No, I don't have that, but I just told you the story.
yeah, I know. I don't know why Collaborate does that. They're just making their own decisions. Okay, so group 1 is Walter and Amani, and group 2, Faye Young and 2. Okay, ready, set, go. And if you're watching this video and you're not in the groups like I'm doing here, I would like for you to look at exercise 39 on page 340. And I want you to do number 1 and 2. So take a couple minutes and do number 1 and 2 and use adjective clauses that have object relative pronouns. So number 1, what is your idea of the ideal roommate? You could say, the ideal roommate is a person who I can trust. An ideal roommate is a person who I can trust. That would be an example of a sentence with the adjective clause. And who is the object relative pronoun. So I want you to work on number 1 and 2 on a piece of paper. If you want to, you can email your sentences to me and then I'll check them. Okay, while you're working on that, I'm going to type your homework on the screen here. So your homework is exercise 10, 11, 12, 16, and 18. A video link is posted for help if you need to watch that in the lesson folder. So thank you guys. Have a great weekend and I will see you next week.